Started and you'll be fine. Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book, Networking Like a Pro, and today we are going to talk about 3 steps to better monetize your reputation as an expert. And I gotta tell you, I am fired up about this because I don't know about you, but when I was getting started, I was running into people who fell into one of 2 categories. They either A, didn't really have an interest in what it was that I had to say, right, as a coach or a consultant or whatever. They just really weren't interested in it. Or B, what happened was I would talk to them a little bit and they weren't able to see the value in the sense of actually paying for my service, right? And again, as a coach, as an author, consultant, service professional, I know you guys have probably run into a similar situation, right? Where you're out there and you know you have good service, you know that you do a good job, you know that what you have has value, except actually communicating that and articulating that to the point where the person who you're talking to would actually want to pull out the checkbook and want to work with you, which is where a lot of this stuff comes in, you know? What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can better monetize your reputation as an expert. We're going to give you kind of 3 steps that you can use to be able to move that ball forward. And you know, I can hear you right now saying, you know what, Brian? I bet you've never had this problem before, right? I mean, come on, you're a best-selling author, you've written, 4 books, you speak all across the country, tell me a little bit about where you're coming from, where you even, have even experienced this type of thing before. And I can absolutely tell you I've had this problem before. For people who have seen me speak, you guys know that I always talk about, there have been 4 times, right? 4 times when I've had $20 or less in my checking account. And I don't really, go too much into it, but there's been 4 distinct times when I've had $20 or less in my checking account. And part of it was because of this challenge right here. I wasn't really able to engage people in a way that made them see, hey, listen, what I have was a value, and that they could count on me to be able to, and compensate me to be able to deliver that to them. But once I learned some of the things that we're going to talk about right here, once I learned them, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how much things, my dad makes a great point. One of the things he says is that money doesn't make life better, but it does make life easier. Okay, and just with that, it was so much easier to be able to grow my business and do some of the things once I was able to learn how to do this. Okay, so without further ado, let's kind of get into 3 steps to better monetizing your reputation as an expert. Okay, step number 1 is pretty easy. Let me just jot it down. You need to make sure that you have a target market, okay? You absolutely need to make sure that you have a target market. I see a lot of people out there, coaches, consultants, service professionals. What happens is they kind of take this everything to everyone approach, right? Where they just kind of go out there, they do their thing, and one of the things I try to tell my clients is real simple, all right? Now, hopefully you take this away from this conversation. One of the things I always tell my clients is, just because everyone can use your service doesn't mean that everyone wants to or has the means to. All right, let me say that again. Just because everybody can use your service doesn't mean that everybody wants to or has the means to. Now, what does that mean? If you're a service professional, maybe you're a lawyer or somebody like that with wills and estates. Well, does everyone need a will? Yes. Can everyone use your service? Yes, again. But does that mean that everyone is really going to fall into your market of being a group of people that you're going to want to work with? Probably not. What I recommend is take a look at your business. Take a look at who's bought from you in the past. Take a look at where they've been in their life, in their business. Are they a certain age? Are they a certain years in the business? Are they in a certain business? Have they kind of experienced certain things in their lives? So as a financial advisor or a lawyer or somebody like that, Wilson Estates, maybe that you found that people that you've engaged with have all had some type of inflection point. Although, they've just had a death in the family, maybe they, just came back from a bad situation, maybe they had a close call in the car, whatever the case may be, take a look at what that is and come up with, I'm telling you, you're gonna come up with 2 or 3, maybe even 4 similarities that you're gonna find. Come up with what those are, and that becomes your target market, and you wanna focus in on them with laser-like precision. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do, step number 1, is your target market. Step number 2, develop a unique selling proposition. Now, you might know of a unique selling proposition by the term elevator pitch. All right, so let me kind of get into this a little bit. Your elevator pitch is what it is you tell people when they are asking you what it is that you do. Right? Sometimes you do it when you're at the chamber, sometimes you do it if you're at B&I, sometimes you do it, just out and about on town. Now, a lot of times what I have found as service professionals, we don't really do a great job of articulating what it is we do in a manner that gets people to ask how we do it. So a lot of times I'll see people say, for example, oh, well, I'm a coach, or I'm a consultant, or I wrote a book, or I'm a therapist, or this, that, and the other, but they don't do it in a way that allows people to want to really explain and really understand how it is that they do it. So what I tell people is real simple. I just say, listen, tell people what it is you do in a manner that gets them to ask how you do it. So sometimes people ask me what it is I do. I say, I help individuals grow and monetize their reputation as an expert. Oh, wow. Well, how do you do that? Well, a lot of times I run into individuals, coaches, consultants, speakers, service professionals who are good at what they're good at, but haven't done a great job as to monetizing their expertise into real bottom line revenue. What I do is sit down and create an easy to implement plan that even the busiest of people can use right away. You see that? Do you see how that creates some interest as opposed to, oh, I'm a coach, I do some speaking, you buy my book, right? But a lot of people do that. And if you want to invite them into the conversation, you first need to be talking to the right people, like we just talked about, and then invite them to want to talk to you, okay? And then once they do that, this is the third point, you need to ask for the business. Now, you need to do this. There's a little bit of a caveat to this. You need to ask for the business using what I call a consultative sales approach. All right? Ask for the business using a consultative sales approach. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, when people think of asking for the business as service professionals, and really just entrepreneurs in general, what happens is we come from this place of not wanting to really be a sales guy, right? What does the traditional sales approach say? The traditional sales approach says is, I'm going to ask you for the business, and if you're not able to give it to me, then I'm going to handle those objections! I'm going to fit it! Right? And who wants to be that? We've all seen that. I don't want to be that. You probably don't want to be that either. I wouldn't, like I just said, want to be that type of person. So what happens is, instead of asking for the business here, what we do is we just kind of hope the business comes to us. We just kind of do good work and hope for referrals. And that doesn't work either. That doesn't work either. So what I tell people is, listen, ask for the business through a consultative sales approach. Brian, what does that mean? A consultative sales approach is a question-based, education-oriented sales approach. It is meeting people where they're at. It is me, as a service provider, asking you, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Where is it that you're trying to go? Have you worked with people like me in the past, and what has your experience been like that? Okay? Those are the types of questions that you want to ask these folks. You want to understand where they're coming from. Why are they talking to you in the first place? Right? And obviously these are situations where this is not networking, okay? So you don't just do around networking. This is when you've already networked, you're sitting down with somebody, and they really want to work, with somebody, or they have a problem, so you're asking them, you're engaging them. Where are you coming from? Okay? So what you want to be able to do with this is you want to be able to ask them these types of questions. They will give you answers, and now you started a conversation. okay? And everybody's fine with the conversation. The traditional sales approach is this one-sided wham, just this boom, and I just, oh, wham, oh, okay? And that's not what we're trying to do. So ask for the business through the consultative sales approach. Brian, what does that look like? When I'm done asking questions and I've articulated my value proposition, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to engage them in a way that allows them to be able to understand what it is I do exactly, okay? What does that mean? That's very, very simple. I'll say, hey guys, this is some good stuff that we've got here for you, and if you would like, what I can do is I can be able to work with you real quick and be able to help you grow your business. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thank you for your time.
Sorry for the disturbance.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I actually didn't see you were here.
It's not a problem.
Sorry.